You know what? To be honest, at first I didn't know if you had dreadlocks.
Well, people ask me all the time.
Yeah, I said, wow, she's some hippie chick with dreadlocks. She's probably has some, purple dreadlocks underneath there or something.
Well, purple hair, but no. So when a Orthodox Jewish woman gets married, we cover our hair out of modesty.
You can't see it.
Well, when I come home, it's the first thing that comes off.
But you don't wear a wig.
So it's as much cultural as it is religious. As Jews have moved around the world, the way they dress has changed. So this is the Israeli bun style.
Were you born in Israel?
My father's Israeli, but I grew up in Brooklyn. Some women wear wigs and some do hats, and some don't cover at all. Some only cover certain times. It's really, what you were comfortable with. To me, this is part of the cultural expression of being Jewish.
Yeah, because you have no Israeli accent.
No, most people can't tell I'm from Brooklyn either. Except when I say draw, my husband's like, it's drawer. No, drawers are underwear.
Women that come from New York, it always bugs me because they don't say New York.
New York.
New York. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, that's not how it's pronounced.
Where are you from originally?
Chicago.
Oh, okay. Do you have an accent?
Not that I know of. But yeah, I'm sure we do. Okay. So, I'll put these glasses away. Don't need glasses. Okay, ready?
Okay, so I guess if you could talk a little bit about your inspiration for the piece, how you came up with the idea, what the piece means to you, any special messages or hidden stories behind it, your artistic inspiration for the piece.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a boater. I love the ocean. And so I have a 65-foot boat. I love the story of the freed slaves who became cowboys because the work was so hard and the pay was so little. That freed slaves, a lot of them became cowboys and a lot of them became whalers also. As I learned about the history and Southampton, the history of the native people, the Shinnecock, and the whole history. And years ago I read about Pyrrhus Concer, his house, the developers trying to get their hands on the property and all the lawsuits and all the millions of dollars that were involved. But I have a gallery right by his house, and I think it's a really good story that shouldn't be forgotten. And I knew one day I would paint this story, try to go into the past and put something into the present. And so I wanted to tell the story of how he was born a slave, became a whaler, saved a bunch of Japanese fishermen. There's a monument of him in Japan. And then after years of whaling, he settled down back in Southampton, and a lot of people don't know there were slaves in Long Island. And he settled down in Southampton and built a home. He started a ferry business. And he made so much money that he became a philanthropist, and he started a widow's fund, and his church is still there where only Native Americans and African Americans worshiped, and that's tied up in knots too. He's buried still in Southampton. You can go see his grave, but it was such a powerful, I felt a connection with this story, and I go to huge salvage yards, and I came across this part of an old wooden ship that was salvaged years ago, and nobody even remembered what parts, but I I saw that it would make a great frame for a painting, and to tell the story. You walk around the painting, and it looks like a porthole, and or some sort of a time portal, and you get to see how dangerous it was to be a whaler, you know. But it was still, you know, good work for a Native American or a freed slave. And so I have a replica of a harpoon, and you get to see the whaling boats, and he's throwing a harpoon and the rough waters. And so it was an honor to do. It was an honor to. I'm glad it's going to be on display in Cold Spring Harbor Whaling Museum. I'm honored to be a part of the show. Honored to make sure his story isn't forgotten in history.
Thank you. May I take a picture of you?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good. Tell me what media you use?
Oil.
Oil. You always like oil.
Not always, but when you're doing something, you know, this big, I think it warrants oil on. Is this my good side or?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna take multiple.
Over your shoulder, I should. Oh, it's okay.
I'm gonna take multiple of you anyway.
Thank you. Now that you asked me what's under my head wrap, what's under yours?
I used to have braids, but I shave it off because I don't have time to deal with a fro. You know what I mean?
Why do you wear a bandana? Just a look you like.
No. I grew up working construction, and you always wore a bandana under your hard hat.
Oh, okay.
And then riding motorcycles, and from that point on, I just always wore bandana. Motorcycles and construction work, and that's all.